Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. Josh here with RotoPros.com, doing a quick little Tuesday afternoon rundown of the slate tonight in the NBA for DraftKings, as well as the injury news that we have so far and what it means. So let's dive right in. At point guard tonight, I prefer the cheap options, although if you're paying up, Damian Lillard and Ben Simmons are probably the top two guys there. Ben Simmons, you have to keep in mind that Joel Embiid is back, so his usage, should be going down. Damian Lillard and Trailblazers are in LA tonight facing the Clippers, which is the second highest implied scoring total of the evening. So you're going to want some exposure, most likely. It's a pretty competitive game, too. I expect that to be close throughout, so you shouldn't have to worry about a blowout there. But then, obviously, the news here is Zach LaVine is out for the Bulls tonight, who have a nice matchup against the Lakers at home. That's going to mean that people like Shaq Harrison at 3,100, Ryan Arcidiacono at 3,300. Excuse me, I'm a little sick today. And Wayne Selden will all be in play. I'm not sure if Selden is a point guard on DraftKings. I can't see, whatever. We'll pull that up later. I think he's a shooting guard for some reason. But all three of them are in play for sure. All less than 3,300 or 3,300 or less. And I expect Arcidiacono to get the start. But the Lakers are so beaten up recently and just have nothing really to play for. So their bench is going to be weaker than usual. So people like Shaq Harrison, who will probably be running the point on the bench for Chicago, facing a pretty weak LA bench, he could do some damage in limited time quickly. Darren Collison's another guy, and Jamal Murray that both merit a little bit of mentioning today. Luka Doncic also, but he's questionable against the Spurs. I expect he may sit. But yeah, all right, moving over to shooting guard. Again, especially on DraftKings, Arcidiacono, he's probably going to get the start tonight. Chris Dunn is still there, but Archie will probably be in there for LaVine. So we just spoke about Jamal Murray a little bit. Anytime Minnesota's on the slate, odds are it's going to be one of the higher implied scoring totals, as well as just a pretty fast-paced, very offensive game. Jamal Murray's down there at 6,300. I don't love him just because Gary Harris and all the other talented Denver guards are healthy and around right now. And with Karl Towns questionable for the game and Wiggins questionable, if those two do end up missing out, then Denver should win pretty easily. Sorry, the game's in Denver too. So a little riskier there. I'd like some exposure to this game, but I'm not going to force it. I do like Jokic a lot if Towns plays, mainly because it'll just be a competitive, high-scoring game and should stay close with Towns in. But we'll see what happens with that later in the day. Lou Williams is someone that's just like, I like to mention him, although he doesn't usually stand out in terms of daily projections and on the stuff that I'm using to study, and I'm sure you're looking at as well. But that shouldn't be how you live and die by with DFS. You should use this stuff as a strong guidance. And by this stuff, I mean projections and optimizers and all the good stuff that all these wonderful DFS sites like us, RotoPros, and other ones as well have to offer. But yeah, sorry. So the reason I brought that up is Lou Williams is someone who I was kind of eyeing yesterday, but I chose to stay away from him because Boston's typically a tougher defensive matchup. And there were better options, but lo and behold, he went for like 50 points last night. So he's definitely shooting well at home, competitive game. We'll see what happens. I like throwing him in there in GPP. He's 7,300, so his ceiling is, I guess, moderately low at that price, but he's a boomer bust GPP guy for sure, Lou Williams. Chris Dunn is probably somewhat under the radar tonight because most of the focus is going to be on the cheaper guards for Chicago, just because they will play similar minutes, people like Arcidiacono, and offer similar opportunity for the just $2,000 cheaper dollars. Let's see, anyone else? Shooting guard. I mentioned Gary Harris earlier. I do like Gary. He's very cheap. He offers a nice discount, and he's getting hot. He's almost as talented as Jamal Murray, honestly. They came out of college kind of similarly with prestige, I guess is a good way to put it. And Gary was, if anything, was an even better defender. So they both hit the three very well. Jamal is more of a point guard, so I guess he's probably a better distributor. But Gary Harris down at 4K just seems way too cheap for me. He's definitely going to be in my player pool tonight. And Landry Shamet, he's another guy who looks horrible on all these projections, but he's young. The Clippers traded most of their talent away, and people like Shamet, believe it or not, are due to their potential. And I think he's locked up a while with them contractually. So he's one of their more important players on the team. So he's going to get 30 minutes most nights, even with Wilson Chandler back, I think. 4,100 seems a little too cheap for him. Maybe like $500 too cheap. So I like Shamet tonight if you land on him. Okay, cool. Moving over to small forward. Giannis, that's his real name. Here's my top play on the slate, but that's, I guess, dependent on Anthony Davis playing. Even though he would play like 20 minutes anyway, he would keep the game. Anthony playing would ensure that the game was probably close, at least for late, at least until they got to the fourth quarter, and then maybe when Davis was out, Milwaukee would pull away because they are a much better team. They're the 1 seed in the East, so this is a pretty obvious result of who's going to win. But it's when you got a team like New Orleans who's basically playing for their jobs almost, with these guys who don't have much NBA experience and are hoping to be starters next year when it matters. People like Frank Jackson trying to make the most of their opportunity. It's the NBA. Any game can stay close on any given night. So I like Giannis a lot. Even with Anthony, with or without Davis, I like Giannis a lot. So it's not really dependent on much. This is a very high score total as well. And with the game being in New Orleans, I think that lowers the blowout risk a little bit. LeBron is another guy who is very GPP because we don't really know what they're going to do with him. The coaching staff, people are suggesting he should be traded. People are suggesting he should just be shut down because they have nothing more to play for this year. And other people suggesting that, hey, you have made millions and millions of dollars, like just finish the season, like, come on, it's your job. So I can see all sides of it. But I do think this will probably be one of the last games for the year that LeBron may actually be an option. Chicago's pretty bad defensively. It'll be a lot of points here. There's no one to stop LeBron. And if he just wants to play basketball tonight and decides to care, he could have a big night. So he's definitely a GPP option. Otto Porter is someone that I wrote up today in the article. He 6,400. Him and Markkanen will be the focal points tonight of the Bulls offense. And Markkanen's $2,000 more expensive, so I like Porter. Kyle Kuzma should be returning for the Lakers tonight. It's too risky for me. I don't really have any interest. I'd prefer to take a chance on LeBron, maybe. I don't know. Well, that's up for debate because Kuzma is so much cheaper. But Mo Harkless is someone who's been really hot the last month. So GPP option for sure. Power forwards, Giannis, same thing. LeBron, same thing. Markkanen, I consider him somewhat of a GPP play because of his price, but him and Porter are going to be the focal points of that offense tonight. So, Markkanen should probably be a lock for over 40 and maybe even around 50 if you get lucky. So, plug him in, GPP, but I wouldn't put him in. Maybe you could probably get away with him and Porter together, but there's just so much value on the cheaper guards for Chicago that I don't really, you don't really want to take like 5 guys from a game. Sometimes it just doesn't usually work out very often. It looks like Anthony Davis is supposed to play tonight. So, he's priced perfectly because in 21, 22 minutes, he pretty much goes off for about 38, 40 points, which is like a little more than 5X. So, you can make the argument he's worth sticking in there, but I don't know. He's just a lock to not play the fourth quarter no matter what. There's not much upside with him. I think of anyone we haven't really spoken about that I may have written about. Guys, I'm a little tired today, so check my article too. There's a chance I'm not mentioning 1 or 2 guys. I don't think so. But anyway, moving over to center, we talked about Jokic. Towns is actually now probable, so that's nice. It makes me like that whole game a lot more. Towns could be an interesting play tonight. They're not too concerned about his knee injury if he's back tonight after only missing a game. So I like Jokic a lot, and I like Towns too to run it back. Definitely takes people like Teague out of play. Markkanen, Nurkic because the Clippers just really struggle against big men since all their trades. Ante Zizic is someone I like. You got Larry Nance, Tristan Thompson, and Marquise Chris all probably missing the game tonight. Nance and Thompson for sure. Chris probably will be suspended, although that's TBD, I still think. So Zizic is somewhat – Philly's got Embiid back, so Cleveland's going to need the big bodies. Simple as that. I love Zizic at 3,700 on DraftKings, but that's not just me. A lot of people are talking about him, so that's obvious tonight. Jakob Poeltl or Polotl, I don't know how to pronounce it, but he's not he doesn't have the highest ceiling in the world, but the last time these two guys faced off, these two guys being the Spurs and the Mavericks, he had the highest return on value out of everyone in the whole game. So I would expect something similar tonight. Yeah, and I think that's it. We'll tune into RotoPros. Check out our chat room throughout the day for more detailed information. I'm purposefully not giving you guys the goods or the best and the reasons and the usage and this and that on this video, because we need to have a reason for you guys to come check out rotopros.com and the Slack chat, and we'd love to explain all those things and why we like certain guys in there. So thanks for tuning in. Talk to you later. Rotopros.com. We have a week free trial right now. Not week, 1 week, excuse me. So sign up. You have nothing to lose, and hopefully see you there. Thanks, guys.